Well, welcome back to Life on Cars. Hope you're all well. And as you can see, we're back on the MR2 today. The car's been stored over at my mum's house for about a month while I was away in Canada, and I've just drove it a few miles back home, and unfortunately it sprung a coolant leak, which is a bit of a nightmare because I've booked in to do a couple of car shows in a few days time, so we better get looking at it and see what's going on. Come on, let's go. Look at that, it's rotted through. That was a pinhole yesterday. I've just touched it with my nail. It's gone through even more. And that was spraying coolant all down here. And even some of it had gotten into the airbox. So yeah, I've been really lucky because it was just spraying a fine spray towards the end of my journey yesterday. And I noticed a little pool of coolant on the floor. And then looking down there, you can see where it's wet on top of the gearbox. So yeah, if you've got one of these Mark II MR2s, check this coolant elbow on the back of the cylinder head above the gearbox on the 3SGE, because that could have been, if that had happened as I was going down the road with no idea and completely failed, I would have lost all the coolant and had a big overheating problem. So I'm going to take this off, see if I can source a new one or a remanufactured one, because I think that's a steel tube that's pressed into this elbow here. There's two bolts, there's a bolt down there, you can just see, and then there's another one on the other side. So it's going to need this hose off, this hose, take the housing off, replace the housing, because this pipe's obviously rotted out, probably from the inside out, because the coolant wasn't very good when I bought this car. It was quite rusty, so it's probably corroded on the inside. So I'll need a new gasket for that part down there, and then hopefully we'll be back up and running, fingers crossed. Well, I've managed to get the old one off. You can see down there where it mounts on with a rubber o-ring in that groove. So yeah, it was this hose here, and also had to take the hose off that goes from the filler neck down over and the airbox, etc. There's the parts that I've taken off. Let's have a look at the old versus new. Do you know, I've been really lucky with this on 2 counts, to be honest. First of all, the fact that this hasn't failed while I've been on a long trip, because it must have been hanging on by the skin of its teeth. Where the pipe failed, just on the join there, that's actually loose. So the pipe itself is detached from the housing, and you can see how rusty and corroded it is inside. And you can see the hole there, that's where it was actually leaking from. But how this didn't detach under pressure from the housing and sudden loss of coolant, I don't know. So and I was a bit worried because I didn't think I'd be able to get one of these that had been rebuilt. I was thinking I was going to have to end up trying to source a second-hand one, but luckily I did come across a eBay seller who sold me this, which has had a brand new pipe made and inserted into original housing, so that's going to do the job. And then I managed to get the correct seal from MR2 Ben. So the seal was about £10, and this part here was £40. So let's get them fitted back on the car and get it back up and running. Alright, let's start off by popping the seal in. There we are, the new seal's in. I don't need to use any sealant or any other type of gasket on here because that rubber O-ring is going to do the job. So let's get the new housing bolted on. Right, I'm going to put some coolant in now before I put the airbox back in, just so I can make sure there's no signs of any leaks. Alright, the coolant seems to be back up to where it needs to be. Can't see any leaks. I'm going to put the airbox back on and then we'll run the car. Well, that seems to have done the trick and the coolant leak is fixed. But I do have another little job that I want to show you that I'm going to do on this MR2 just to get it ready for the shows. Come on. So a couple of months ago I had the car down at a local car meet and a guy offered me these leather seats that he'd had in storage for a long time, and anyway, a couple of days later I went and had a look at them and we did a bit of a deal and I ended up bringing them home because I think these have got some potential to come up really nice. There doesn't seem to be too much damage. There's a few little splits here and there as you can see, but the leather itself is in reasonably good condition. I think it just needs a bit of a recolour, maybe a bit of a feed, and I was in two minds as to whether I have a go at doing this myself, but what I've decided to do is take the seats down to the same guy who did the roof lining on my Jaguar. He's offered to do the seats at a really reasonable price, so I think best left to the professionals. I'll get them recoloured and get some of those repairs patched in, and then we'll see what they like. But I think these will look so nice in the MR2, so yeah, looking forward to getting them back in. So let's fast forward a few weeks and see how they came out. Here we go. Well, here they are. Don't they look great? Look a completely different seat, don't they? Yeah, I'm really pleased with them. They've come up really nice. I've just given them a bit of a feed, so they're ready to go in. I mean, the passenger side one there, apart from that little dent, which I think will come out, it's just where probably something's been leaning on it for when they were in storage. Really, really nice condition. Driver's one, obviously a little bit more cracking on the leather, but well, not cracking, you know, creases, but it all adds to the patina, doesn't it? But yeah, they've made a great job. They've repaired those couple of holes that I had and recoloured where necessary. So yeah, let's get them in. So you know the drill if you're an MR2 owner. These are actually fairly straightforward to fit. You've basically got a couple of covers over the bolts, and then just be a case of getting a 14mm socket and undoing the bolts. Let's have a look at the back. Yeah, just a couple of 14 mils. So I'll get these changed over and then we can have a look, see what they look like. I mean, there's nothing too much wrong with these. They're a little bit. Obviously, there's a bit of wear here. I mean, they're not too bad condition, to be fair. They'll make somebody a good replacement seat, but I couldn't resist these leather ones. So yeah, let's get them in. Well, I hope you enjoyed this little episode on the MR2, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the shows now at the weekend. If you did like the episode, don't forget to give me a like and subscribe. Plenty of comments as well. I always like reading the comments, and I'll see you all again very soon with something else on Life on Cars. Stay safe and drive carefully. Bye bye.